So I recently found this particular question. I think it's about a year old, but let me give my own understanding for this question. Now, first of all, is two actually zero? Let's actually see. Now, first of all, we have 2 plus 2, which is correct. Okay. 2 equals 1 plus 1. Also correct. Fine, we're doing well so far. Now, the problem starts when we have this. Okay, because this is not entirely true. Okay. Because first of all, 1 plus 1 is always 2. It goes just one way. Okay, 1 plus 1 is 2. Okay, it can't be anything else. But then when you have 1 plus root 1, you now have two options. Because whenever there's just like when you have, let's say, roots 100, it's 10 or -10, or you can just write it like this, plus or minus 10. So it's the same thing here. Once the moment you change it to root one 1 plus root 1, it stopped just being 2. You now have two options. It could either be 1 plus 1, which is 2, or 1 minus 1, which is 0. Because root 1 could be 1, or it could be, let me just erase this. Because root 1 could be plus or minus 1. Okay, so the moment this person switched from 2 to 3, this stopped being entirely true because now you have two options. This could either actually be 2 or it could be 0. Now everything here going down simply took the second path. That was just what happened. The moment you the moment you have, or let me now give another scenario. Let me say I have okay, let me use 10 plus 6. Okay, I know that 10 plus 6 is 16. Okay, but the moment I now say, okay, 10 plus root 36, root 36 could be 6 or -6. Okay, so this goes one way. This is just 10 plus, but the moment I write 10 plus root 36, if someone just gives me this question, oh, 10 plus root 36, I start to think, is this person, could it be uh plus or minus 6? So that gives me, it could be 10 plus 6, which is 16, and also 10 minus 6, which is 4. So the problem actually begins when this person simply says 2 is equal to 1 plus root 1. So for this to be true, okay, for this to be true, it means that the root 1 you're looking for is just for 1. Let me also give you another analogy. Let's say you have let me see, use a triangle. Let me um shapes. Let me just go to shapes. Just a random triangle will be fine. Okay. Now they say one of the side has a length of root 36. So thinking just like this, okay, root 36 could be either 6 or -6. But because we're talking about the length of a triangle, -6 is out of, it's out of the options. It just has to be 6. Okay, because the length of a triangle cannot realistically speaking, the length of a triangle cannot be -6 centimeter. It has to be 6 centimeter. It is the same idea here. We have 2 plus 2 equals 1 plus root 1. For this to be true, it means that this root 1 has to be a positive 1, not a negative 1. So everything going down is just simply taking the path to 0. Now, I've seen some people argue that when the problem is when you go from 4 to 5, like you can't have two negative numbers in a square root. Example, um, let me use 36 again. So 36, the square root of 36 could be 6. It could also be -6. Okay. Now 36, root 36, we can write this as 9 times 4. We can also write this as -9 times -4. I want to use these two because both are perfect squares, yeah? So I can break these two down and say, okay, this is root 9 times root 4. This is also root -9 times root -4. So this gives me 3 times 2, which is equal to 6. Now, the square root of -9 Okay, if you deal with imaginary numbers, you know it will give you 3i. Okay, times square root of negative 4 will give you 2i. Okay, and then if we multiply these two together, so 3 times 2 is still 6. I squared, or let me say I times I, will give us -1. So 6 times -1 is still -6. So you can actually have this. You can actually have two negative numbers in the square root, although it's not, it might be, let me use the word, it might be an inconvenience having to deal with them. But in this situation, you can actually have them in your square root. So there's no problem there because, like I said, square roots always have two options. It's either a positive option or a negative option. You only have to choose one, or there only has to be one. Let's say in cases like this, where, example, like I said, the length of a triangle, it can't be a negative number. It has to be a positive number. And also here, um, talking about 2 equals 1 plus root 1. For this to be true, it means that root 1 here just has to be 1, not -1. So that's just it. That's the issue with this question. I hope I explained it well. Thank you.